in the grand scheme of things, Tesla is maybe about, I'll say about 10% of my net worth. But it's not insignificant. It still pains me that Tesla is going down.
Can you share how big is the Tesla position in dollar terms? Hi everyone, welcome to the first episode of the Backholder Pod. So this is Shiking.
And this is Kelvin from Kelvin Learns Investing.
This is Bunty. Hi everyone.
This is Eric from Lai's channel.
Me and Kelvin currently probably do YouTube full-time, while Bunty and Eric both have their own YouTube channel doing it part-time. So we just wanted to really get together and to understand a little bit more about the markets and share some of our thoughts on a weekly basis, I hope. Do remember to smash the like button and help us continue on this journey as a four-man team. But before we begin, I think I just wanted to kickstart the conversation because we understand that yesterday's market, it was interestingly a monstrous rally, and you can see all of us changed our background where we are all celebrating a 5 to 10% pump. So I just wanted to get your opinions on, do you guys think that this rally can be trusted, or is this just another fake bear market rally? Maybe you can get Kelvin to start off.
So for those who didn't follow, I think it was a 7.7% CPI rate, right? And it rallied, the market rallied so fast because it beat all the expectations lah.
Right.
As to whether this is a bear rally or not, personally, I feel it is.
Okay.
I feel it is because for the market to bottom out, I feel that the Fed have to pivot first. What does Mundi think about it?
Yeah, actually, my feelings, right, is exactly reflected in the background of our photos here. So, wow, celebrating the 5%, but actually, portfolio is down like exactly almost like 50% kind of drop, right? So quite kind of funny feelings last night. But with regards to whether this is bottom or not, I also don't think so. I just think that sometimes, you know, when over the past, let's say a couple of weeks, it's very, very weak, right? I mean, the markets. So there's a lot of bearishness. I think people are shorting the market. And usually when you have good news like this, right? So these are, you know, short covering and you have this kind of crazy movement. But after that, after people digest the news, I think you will see that market slowly to come down. I think that's my expectations. Yeah. What about Eric? Actually,
I think I really believe in this rally. I think we have seen the bottom, most likely. So sorry to contradict two of you, probably more experienced than me. But because I see the big techs, right? They are actually, I feel, the last shoe to fall. So you see like all the FANG company, all dropping like what, 50 to 70%. Even Meta and all this, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Tesla, you know, they dropped like about 60 to 70%. So I feel that the bottom is probably in. And probably market is forward looking, and I see that we'll probably have big rallies and then a slow grind down and then a big rally, but overall trend should start to go back up. We probably have to look at the moving averages like maybe 2 months later to confirm. Yeah.
Yesterday I actually look at the news, right? Once the inflation news come out, actually, the first thing that I look at is the CME website, just to look at the probability of upcoming rate hike. Before the inflation results, right, I think people are expecting kind of between 50-50 split between 50 basis point or 75 basis point. And yesterday, right after the results, right, I think now the consensus is that like high chances, 80% chance that it will be a 50 basis point hike, meaning that Federal Reserve is not going to pause or not going to stop, but then they are going to, like, you know, slow down the pace of the increase now. So probably 50 basis point up, maybe another 25. But the reason I say this is likely a trap, right, is because I think they are still very, very far away from pausing or like lowering the interest rate. So they want to see the inflation down to 2% to call it like, okay, we actually won this war, right? So we are still very early in this. And imagine now the Fed fund rate is like 3.75%, right? Even if you drop to 25 basis point up every meetings, it still stay at a very high level. And I think that there are many people who took up a huge amount of loan in the past. So when you increase the interest rate by 25 basis point every meetings, right, I think that's quite painful as well. And now we already see this kind of pain, right? So just look at the layoff in quite a number of companies.
just to keep the record straight, I also think it's a bear market rally. But I think just to be kind of like a devil's advocate, where I want to go against Bunty and Kelvin as well, when the market will bottom when none of you expect that it will bottom. So if all y'all think that it's a bear market rally, there might be a chance that it will actually bounce back and this is the bottom. But I had two specific data points I want to talk about. I think for one, it's the put call spread. I think it's at the highest if you were to compare back to COVID-19 again. So then I was thinking means that a lot of people are punting, like especially after the CPI rate, whether it will go up, go down, and the volume just increase exponentially. So I just feel like the market makers just think they just want to push the market to a particular direction, and that's why they see, oh, CPI really good, then they just they just burn all your puts away. I think that's the first point. And I think on the second point, in terms of big tech, honestly, I touched my heart and asked myself, do I really think they're cheap? Debatable. I don't know. I think, of course, you all can keep arguing that, oh, Meta 10 PE, Tesla 40, 50 PE, and Google 17 PE is cheap. I don't think really it's cheap. It's reasonable, but to really say that this is bottom, I'm a bit skeptical. So then I think also I wanted to ask also from your perspective. So have you guys been buying, continue dollar cost averaging, or just hold out and just drifting it through? Just want to understand, like from Eric's point of view, are you still buying Tesla?
For this I blame my wife. I wanted to buy at 180. I want DCA, but my wife say, I think you better stop. You know.
Okay.
So she holds the master key. So I'm like, okay, I want to buy, but I have to listen to her.
I think listening to your wife is more important than earning money from the stock market. So I agree with that
Absolutely
decision.
true.
And Kelvin?
For me, actually, I have been DCAing all along, but the amount that I've been DCAing have been the same since last year, even though my income has gone up.
Okay.
So right, I've been DCAing about 5K every month.
Wow.
So obviously my YouTube income is higher now. I didn't increase the amount that I DCA. So right now I'm sitting on a lot of cash right now. How much? I think about 20 to 30% cash.
Okay.
I might start throwing in soon already because I feel like this is at the level which I'm more comfortable buying right now.
Okay.
Like Tesla has already gone down like how much? more than 50% from its peak, right?
Right.
I think Alibaba even worse.
Please don't rub it in, but okay. Can.
Yeah. All of us are
Do
the
it,
same
do
right
it.
now. Right.
Right.
So yeah, this is at the level which I'm more comfortable buying already. So I will start increasing the DC amount in the next few months though. Yeah.
Understand. Then what about Bunty?
Yeah, I'm still buying. Actually, I just made a couple of purchase like I think 2 weeks, one or 2 weeks ago. So quite a recent purchase. So of course it's not like unlimited cash flow that I can buy every week, right? So it just pays the purchase, just do it consistently. Actually, I want to ask Eric, because Eric mentioned that like wife not allow you to continue to buy Tesla, right? Have you tried to like understand what's the rationale? Like what's
her rationale is she's scared.
All the more you should buy though, when it's a good indicator.
Yes, it's absolutely a good indicator for all of you, but not for me. Because if she's scared and I still buy it, the results won't be very nice for me personally.
But
question
to you is that, are you scared?
Me, I'm not. Because like Kelvin, right? When I DCA, I only do like maybe about 5,000. That is also my amount when I DCA. I don't really plug in a lot. Like so I was telling my wife, my Tesla pot is like substantial, it's significant, it's not like you can dismiss it. But I can probably earn it back like 1-2 years with my active income. So it's not insignificant, but it's painful enough to feel it, you know, if Tesla crashes.
Actually, this is the same case as like all the Tesla bulls, right? Even for Chicken Genius, last year he was still a bull, right? He can all in so much because he has a huge amount of money coming in from elsewhere, like his property. That's why like even if Tesla goes to zero, he'll be fine. Like who's that? The Dave Lee, they'll be fine. The solving the money problem, they'll be fine. So the reason they can go in so much is because they have even if it goes to zero, they can recover in just 1 to 2 years time.
Yeah.
So that's why.
I currently don't have an active income, so I need your support to help smash that freaking like button for me so they can blow me up to more people. But I think I also wanted to express in terms of this kind of signaling, right? Because we all run like some sort of online community. It's a very good way to sense the market, because as you get more and more negative comments, that's some sort of a bottoming signal and just to share as well, because I'm 90% of my portfolio is in China. I hold Chinese equities. So after the Congress, I think the market basically shit on itself. I think China was down at least 10+% on that day, and yeah, I bought more Alibaba and Tencent on that day. So that has been my buying. I haven't buy after that episode. So that's just my own thing. So I think also one of the very key concern that essentially blew up this last week, right, was this FTX collapsing thing. So I personally am not invested in crypto. I haven't really understood what's going on, and I also haven't been well versed in this entire space itself. But I think Kelvin, you have been quite into the space. Maybe you can update us on maybe some perspectives on what you think of this entire collapse and how would it affect.
So a backstory to this thing. This thing was it started around earlier this month when CoinDesk published a report saying that FTX has like $15 billion in their balance sheet, but 1/3 of it is in their own FTT token, which they print by themselves. So if the FTT token were to collapse, then FTX would be in a huge trouble. So that prompted the Binance CEO, the Zhang Zhao, to dump his FTT token. That triggered everyone else to be scared, and they started dumping. So everyone thought that FTX would collapse, and I think it's a self-fulfilling prophecy where everyone thinks that it will collapse, everyone will withdraw, which triggered a bank run. So that's why on Wednesday morning, FTX had to halt withdrawals, even though they didn't have a chance of going bankrupt previously. So it was triggered by Binance doing their weird stuff. So right now, I don't think anyone can withdraw now. But yesterday afternoon, FTX had a deal with Tron, where I think if you sell to Tron, you are able to withdraw to other exchanges.
So do you think this one is like a engineered kind of things, or do you think that this is just some bad management and like liquidity crush situations, or is it like really engineered attack by someone with a clear intention to bring down FTX?
Conspiracy theory.
Bunti, can I answer you? You know the reason why I think yesterday or the day before I bet with you that one bubble tea? Because it is super obvious to me, right, that CZ, right, Binance CZ, he was pissed off about the what's his name? The one in charge of the
SPF.
Sam, is it?
Sam.
So he's been sleeping with the regulators, obviously. So he's been talking bad about Binance and saying that, oh, we need to regulate the crypto space. At least this is what I heard from the community. So I think CZ was unhappy, but he also realized that I'm not very happy with this guy. I hold like a big bag of his token. What can I do to him? So I think it's pretty obvious that he put out those tweets and saying that they printed their own token and it's probably not going to be worth much. We're doing our due diligence. That's why we're dumping the FTT. So he put it out, all those tweets. He said, oh, want to prevent Luna learning from it. Moving on. So this to me was very obvious that he actually engineered all these things and he wants to do them in. Like then after he pretend like, maybe this is bad for a crypto community. Maybe I should save you. That's when I had a bet with you, right? I say that he's not gonna save. He confirmed not gonna save. He dug the hole. Why would he save them? So I think that's my point of view. I think it's very obvious that he pushed them down the stairs, and then at the bottom of the stairs he's seen crying. So I don't know how sincere is that. Yeah.
I think from my point of view, I think CZ, he doesn't know what's going on with FTX. He's I think he's just doing due diligence. Like if you see something weird, right, you will definitely try to protect yourself. Try to protect Binance for CZ case. I don't feel that there's an evil intention behind his action. Otherwise, he wouldn't even offer to rescue them before looking at their balance sheets.
Okay, this one I
yeah.
definitely have a different take lah. He really wants to do them in. I don't think, if he's doing his due diligence, right, he could have dumped it like on the quiet, behind the scenes. People will still know anyway. They will dig up the transaction, but he doesn't need to tweet like, oh, avoiding a Luna. Like, this is suspicious, seems like they don't have liquidity crunch and all those things. So it's like classic FUD lah. So
the reason he had to tweet that is because someone, I think the big whales tweet, I forgot what I said. Someone pointed out that someone transferred FTT tokens into Binance. So he had to come out and explain that lah. So that lead to him tweeting what he's doing lah, because people were tracking that transaction ma. He can't just keep quiet on that lah.
And just to help out Kelvin here a little bit is that I saw there's this email that he's also sent to share on Twitter, right? He actually said that although now let's say FTX is gone and then Binance become like the largest exchange, right? But isn't a good thing actually for them, because now what happened is that the public lose trust on this entire crypto space, right? So it's not good as a whole, So I think that's one sounds to me like a credible kind of explanation. Like actually, even if he won his opponents, right? But maybe it is also not a good result for himself. So that's something that I think helped to justify.
So Chee Keng, where are you keeping your cryptos now?
Wait, but as in before that, I think I just wanted to share my perspective. I don't have trust in the whole system. That's why I have no crypto exposure. I also think that in this whole market, if the infrastructure is not well done, as in you can't even have a centralized exchange that don't go under. So touch wood that I hope Binance don't go under. But if they do, then I honestly don't know, especially for people that are holding. You can say that, yeah, I keep it in my cold wallet. I keep it somewhere behind 24 digits and stuff like that. But if I can't even trade it, or if I can't even sell it if I need the money, then I honestly think that the infrastructure is not matured enough yet. So that's my perspective. And to answer Kelvin's question, I have zero crypto exposure. And I know it's a bit weird because I'm the youngest in this group, and most of the people around me have been constantly like encouraging me, telling me to use their codes and stuff like that. The funny thing is when I ask them to use my code for Webull, they don't even use. Then they want me to use their code for the whatever platforms that they want me to sign up. So that's hypocrisy. But anyway, I think I also wanted to talk about this FTX thing, right? Because recently, I think a few of the bigger YouTubers, so like Graham Stephan, even Joseph Carlson, Tom Nash, Minority Mindset, they all came out with like a quote-unquote apology video about saying, oh, even though they still draw the line very clearly. So they say that this is FTX US, this is FTX.com. But regardless, it's under the same umbrella, it's the same company, and the reputation was definitely impaired to a certain extent. So I wanted to get your take, especially when all four of us create content. And do you think it's necessary, especially, so for example, touch wood again, that somebody that sponsored you before goes under? And are you expected to make an apology, or what should the course of action be? I want to hear from the biggest one though. So Kelvin, what's your take?
So I was involved in the whole Hodernot thing. So actually, this kind of thing, I realized after a while, you hear rumors before the actual news happen. So for example, Anchor, I knew that it depacked 3-4 days before, but didn't thought that it would go further down. So that's why I didn't take any action and I got burned out. Then for Celsius, someone pointed out to me that Celsius was doing funny stuff 2 weeks before, but the time I was too busy lah, so I didn't look into it. For Hodernot though, I was already burnt from Anchor and Celsius. So 1 month prior, I saw news. So that's why I made a post to tell people to withdraw. Then I didn't realize that YouTube is a bit like Facebook, where it limits the reach. So it doesn't show everyone the post. So I think like only 10% of the people saw, so the rest got burnt. But for this time around, I saw the news 1 day prior. So that's why I post everything. I post on Instagram. I made a short just to tell everyone lah. And I hope people got saved by it lah. As to whether an apology video is there or not, I think all of us are not greedy for money lah. Otherwise, we'll be selling courses by now. If we are able to, I think we are able to.
Idea.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So I think everyone does their due diligence. And on that note, right, even Temasek themselves was burned. So what we know is probably they know more than us, and they didn't even see this coming, right? So I think maybe we are to blame, but if we see the rumors coming, we can definitely take steps to inform people about it lah. So that's what I feel lah.
I think just my 2 cents, right, Chiking. I think when rumors are concerned, right, when you have in the crypto space, whenever you have rumors, right, the first course of action is just withdraw all your cryptos, like just put it in cold wallet. You know, there's no smoke without fire. And even if it turns out that there's no fire, right, at least you're out. You know, later on, if everything settled down, you want to go back in, it's up to you, right? The crypto space forever will be there. But if you don't go out and they go under, that's where all your cryptos are going to be under the sea. So I think that's my motto lah. When you're dealing with something that is based on trust, like banks, like those kind of BlackRock and all those things, they are scared of what? Because they only have like 10% of their assets, right? As in real assets. You know, they multiplied their AMU by like what they can deal with 10 times. So if trust is gone, right, a bank run is like in very short order it's going to happen. So that's what I see happening over and over again. Even for banks during the GFC, that's what happened. Rumor comes out and then the CEO come out, we're fine.
Right.
Asset is there, you know, we're doing great. Liquidity, no problem. We do have how many billions? Then you see 1 week later, they take picture of the guy like walking out with a box, like.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, what I don't understand is if FTX is really just a platform for you to facilitate the trading, like Tiger or Moomoo or Webull, is there a case where Tiger, Moomoo or Webull will go under? I don't know. I don't want to say anything also because I don't know whether they will sponsor this channel or not. But I'm just saying, like, if you're just facilitating the transaction, you're doing a buy sell, you're earning the spread. I don't understand why you will go under, because that's quite a profitable business itself, unless you leverage lah. So unless you start taking the money, take customers' money and loan it out to random people to get 20% APY or something. But if you stay clear of those, even if you borrow shares out to let people short, like for these normal brokerage accounts or platforms, I don't really understand how this whole thing will explode.
I think this one is a good question, right? Because when we compare the infrastructure behind share trading, like let's say Moomoo or whatever, right, versus crypto space, right? I think in terms of the tech infrastructure, for sure, crypto will be like much more advanced, right? Like, for example, we buy shares, some actually still take, you know, like 2 or 3 days to settle the kind of things. But with crypto, it all settles within minutes, right? So really the custody itself already transferred. So it is a very big difference, and crypto is more advanced. That's why people are so hyped up about these crypto things, right? But when you look at the other aspect, right, which is the governance part, I would say that actually the traditional brokerage, right, is still the one that is solid one, because they are, I mean, in the initial years, right, let's say like 100 years ago, you already have brokerage account, but there's all sorts of this kind of, you know, like Ponzi or scam issues, right? But it's of course, every time there's all these crises, and then the regulations has changed, which help to protect the investors. That's why we have a solid kind of a framework to guide like what can they do and what they cannot do. Even let's say if someone try to do crazy things, right, you can be assured that it is a like criminal act and the person have to go to jail. But for crypto, sometimes it's a bit like actually we don't know, like this FTX got like bank stock withdrawal, right? We actually don't know inside out like what's actually happening. Like how can they have another like kind of like a sister company, the Alameda Research, right, that suddenly pull the whole thing down, right? We kind of like don't know. So I think that's why I would say for it's hard to say, I would say. Yeah, the risk is always there, especially for new type of investment.
I think to answer Chikeng's question is, the reason broker can go under is if people lose trust in them, like they feel that a certain broker are using their cash to do other stuff lah, and they will start withdrawing. So there's a bank run, and if there's a bank run, then there won't be enough revenue to cover their overhead. So that's where they go bankrupt lah, right? Like for
Right.
Yeah.
I was thinking, as in, so let's say now all the shares or equities that I own in like Interactive Brokers, Tiger, Moomoo, technically the custody is under my name. As in legally, I have ownership or claim onto whatever I have in my account, right? So let's say now on mass, everybody sell their equity position. Whatever they just cash out and then they want to take out money. If they do it properly, means there are proper frameworks in saying how much the stockbrokers can leverage or to do other things at the side. I think should still be fine, because I don't think like 100% of the people will sell out also. I'm just worried that especially in the crypto space itself, one concern that I have also is I don't know how leveraged it is. It's like a black hole to me. So everybody, I don't know how leveraged a certain broker is. I don't know how leveraged this coin is, this project is, this whatever is. So that's why it has been a very I haven't go about going to crypto. But
I think the thing that you're looking for, right, is regulation.
Right.
Yeah, because the stock brokers, they are regulated, but crypto exchanges, they are not. That's why you think that they are black hole, which in fact they most likely are, because a lot of time nobody knows what's the real exposure, you know, until even CZ went to dig up all the this FTX, right, all their exposure, then he found out that, whoa, this is really a very deep hole. He
Right.
cannot even like bail them out. It's so deep that the biggest exchange cannot bail them out. You know, that tells you the extent, you know, just because they are not regulated, I feel.
Right. Speaking about black hole, I think there is this recent black hole as well about this rumor about, not rumor, actually it's a fact that Elon Musk is selling Tesla shares. He then made a public position on why he sold. There were a lot of memes floating online saying that he don't want to sell, but then he sold again. But I think one of the most credible claims for now is that he needed to bail Twitter out because Twitter is on the brink of bankruptcy. I don't know whether is this part of his marketing technique again, because he's a genius marketer. But I understand that all three of you hold Tesla share. So for the record, I have 0 Tesla exposure. I'm not long, I'm not short. But yeah, I just wanted to hear from a Tesla shareholder, what do you all think about this entire sell-off? And assuming that yesterday's rally didn't happen, Tesla was trading at 170 something. And it was down like, I think a good, I've forgotten how many percentage. It was quite a huge extent. Like it was a very big gap down. So I just, and it was after the news, right, that Elon sold, like the filing came through. So I just wanted to understand. I think Eric, just now you were saying very enthusiastically about your Tesla position. What were your thoughts on that whole selling saga?
Actually, I different from all the bulls, right? I don't think Elon is ever done selling. He will sell when he needs the money. Like if he needs it to like keep Twitter alive, he will sell it when he needs to finance SpaceX. He will sell it if he needs to do something. So there's no point in saying, oh, you say you cannot sell. Like I think that's like nonsense, right? The guy is the richest man on earth. You say he cannot sell his stock. Like why are we telling him what to do with his money? He have like 200 over billion, right? Now maybe 100 plus. But let the man do what he wants to do. But I think Tesla as a company, because I'm a long-term investor, so I look at their execution, they're still doing all right, despite the recession and all these things. So I'm not too concerned about the share price drop. I'm just concerned that I can't buy it.
But if that's assuming that also, why can't he take a margin on his position? Like,
oh no.
Loan.
He's a very conservative man. He doesn't take margin.
But I thought that's usually what rich people do though. So for example, like even Bill Gates, even Charlie Munger took margin to buy Alibaba on his equities position, by the way, just saying.
I don't want to know how that turns out.
No worries. A lot of them have proper risk control measures in place. But I'm just saying, if your position is so huge, like you said, his net worth is like 200 plus or 180, 90 billion. Taking out a margin of like, let's say 1 billion, like you get a bank to underwrite, you use your shares as collateral. I think he did it before, right? It's not the first time that this is happening, but he didn't do it. He sold instead. And I think the meme that was floating around was that he did claim that Tesla's going to be bigger than Apple and the Saudi oil company, then I think Patrick Boyle, which is another YouTuber, was saying, why would you sell a company when you know the valuation is going to be 4 trillion when you're going to sell it at a 500 billion valuation? But yeah, that's just a meme lah. I also want to understand, maybe from Buddhi, what's your thoughts on this?
Let me explain a bit. I think for the Twitter purchase, right? So he made the offer to purchase Twitter when the market was still relatively, like still bullish. Market still doing okay. It dragged out for quite some time, right? And as part of that offer, right, it's always funded by his own money plus some bank financing and so on. So actually, we don't know what happened behind the scene because now he has taken Twitter private, right? Actually, yes, I think there are at least 3 different parties. One is Elon Musk himself. The other one is all the banks that provide financing. And there's also other equity investor that I think some have already been disclosed. I think some are not disclosed. So I don't know what's going on because as these things drag on, right, some of the investor, could it be like the debt financing or the equity financing? Some of them might pull out. So he will have to fill in if that's the case, right? So I haven't looked into very details, but I think the situation is that he really needs the money. And then, of course, he has the freedom to sell it, right? So I think most people are okay with him selling. And in fact, this is not the first time he sold, right? He actually sold before. I think if you look at let's say like Telegram or Twitter, I think there are quite a number of people who kind of like upset because just back in August, he sold some shares and then someone asked him like, are you done selling? Then he said, yes, for now. He said something like, yes. And he is sold it because in case some investor pull out, then he want to avoid the emergency selling. So that's what he answered, right? So the question is like, okay, this is talking about like the Twitter purchase where he need to pay the bill. Now Twitter already, the purchase already done. And a few weeks later, then after he pumped the stocks talking about the Saudi Aramco, now suddenly he come up and selling. So there's a bit of trust issue there, and some people actually upset about it, and I can understand why lah. And I also want to throw the questions to, let's say, like Kelvin, right? Do you like feel there's a bit of trust issue there, or do you think that okay, everything that he has been done so far is really reasonable?
I think it's taken out of context already, because like when you ask him, are you done selling? He said he is. Then if you I put it like for us lah, let's say if your friend asks you, are you done eating? Yes, I'm done eating. Then tomorrow you go and eat again. Then you're
Exactly.
How come I thought you said you're done eating? How come you're eating today again? I think it's the same thing. I think he was just referring to, I'm done selling for that time. So for this time, I needed to sell again. But anyway, right, that's just his money, right? Why are you upset? Why are you even upset that how he manages his money? But anyway, as a Tesla bull, I'm not a Tesla bull lah, huh? Eric, I think Eric is a bigger as a Tesla investor, I would prefer that the stock of Tesla to drop rather than it to go up now. And second, Tesla fundamentals at this current price compared to the previous time at the same price is much better right now lah. So I don't know. It seems like a better deal right now at this current price. And if it goes down to 80, I think more people will be happier, right? Compared to when it goes up to $300 instead.
If it's 80, I will join you all as a Tesla shareholder. I'll put it out there first. Assuming vis-a-vis that the fundamentals don't change or the projection will change.
You go and sell a put at $80 2 years out.
I think the premium is not a lot, right?
Not a lot, but you sell 2 years out.
But I need to leverage my account though like that, because they'll use my equities position to hold that position. I have put
Alibaba. Just sell Alibaba.
I have puts elsewhere also. So I cannot keep leveraging like that until like infinity like that. I mean my account is limited in size. So that's, but I also wanted to jump back on what Kelvin said. I actually do agree. If the company is not dying, it's not holding a lot of debt, if the valuation keep going down, why are you scared? The company disappear or go bankrupt or what? Like that's my question to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And specifically to Alibaba haters also like that. What are you scared of? Like, okay, go nationalize or you nationalize for me to see lah. But that's besides the point. So
for that I do jump in. The thing that I'm scared about is Tesla's demand going down. Like right now we don't see that happening yet. Because we can't see the competitors coming in yet. Okay, like BYD is in already.
China, yeah.
But
correct.
yeah, so China has is producing a lot of new models every quarter or something. So eventually competitors will catch up. Not in terms of the FSD or whatever. I think that feature is for rich people. For common people, right, they would just need an EV car to drive around, that's all. So I think if Tesla's demand were to go down, right, Tesla would be in a huge trouble. That's what I feel.
Let me jump in also. I think talking about Elon selling, okay, sometimes we will say, okay, from investing perspective, we want to split, right? We say, okay, this is the buy sell of shares. Actually, regardless of how we buy sell the shares, the company still stay as the company. And we can talk about the company car, their sales, and their margin, and so on as a company analysis, right? These are two different things, right? Because shareholder changing shares actually got nothing to do with the performance of the company, right? But come back to Elon selling, right? I think there's this concern about like, you know, he's the CEO, he's the owner, he know inside out, right? So when he's selling, especially in the case of actually he can try to avoid selling by taking more margin or whatever, right? Technically, he can do that, right? But he's still selling. Is that means that there's some insider kind of information that he know that we don't know, right? So I think this one, now I'm just like talking about Tesla, but similar things can be said on Chinese stock as well, because the price has been so weak. It's because people are selling. It's not like their fundamentals results are so bad, right? But why people are selling, right? And these are not talking about like, you know, some small retail investor that's panic sell, right? This is like a long time drag, and that's why the share price has come down so much, right? The question is like all these big shareholders that they have sold, right? Who are they? Why are they selling? Is their concerns is also our concern or not? So that's my kind of like questions posed. So always happy to hear a Chicken's view. You can.
I think no.
Yeah.
So the main topic is still on Tesla, but just a very short answer to your question. After Stock Connect came up, which is the China Hong Kong part, you monitor through October, November, every single day the Chinese is increasing their exposure to Alibaba, Tencent, whatever. So I can tell you that the Chinese are even more bullish, but the selling ones is because it's basically a shareholder change over the last 1 to 2 years, from international investors now going back to Chinese investors again. Like they're all buying back their own onshore Alibaba, Tencent, whatever. But they're not buying it out like aggressively. So that's why the price has been stuck there for a very long time. But like, you know, in an aggregate exchange, when somebody's selling, somebody else is buying. So somebody else is back holding in this case, which is the name of our podcast. But anyway, that's a short answer to your question. But I think I also do agree that if you put it into that perspective, I kind of also understand why some people might be a bit jittery where Elon in this case is selling and the trust issue. But I mean, who am I to judge? I'm not really in tune with the company as well. So I thought it was just a very interesting drama, and I wanted to just take the perspective from all the 3 Tesla bulls, or Tesla shareholders, sorry. Yeah. So I think one of the main topic that we wanted to discuss was brought up, as if we pull it back to the Singapore market, I think there has been many calls or occasions where influencers, people like Josh Tan, Mr. Lu from 1M65, they've been talking about this Singapore housing bubble. Like, wow, housing price very expensive. Our rental rates are at sky high now also, if you compare it to 1 year ago. So personally, I don't own a house. I don't have the money, I don't have the equity, I don't have anything. But I also wanted to take from your own perspective, what do y'all think? Is this the bubble? Like, would it be popping soon, or how would y'all see this entire property market in Singapore now?
Okay, so I think it's not just influencers who's bringing this up. Like I've been checking out Reddit and Hardware Zone, and this chatter has been going on for quite a while, since I don't know, this year or something. And the last time similar stuff has happened, it was the 377A, the gay thing. And after that, there's the government had to take action to calm everything down. So I will see this housing bubble, this chatter will not die down unless the government do something about it. And the thing, I feel that the deadline will be during like 2025, before the election. They have to address this and not just like monitor. So one thing that they did recently was what was it? Shit, I forgot.
Cooling measure, is it?
Yeah, something to do with cooling measure. Oh yeah, when you sell your private condo, you have to wait for like
15
few
months.
15 months before you can buy a HDB.
Yep.
I think the bigger problem is that people who own private property, they are owning HDB at the same time. So I think they are going to address that very soon. Either forcing them to sell or charging them a higher tax to own that. So either way, I still think the long-term demand is still there. It's just how long you are holding, right? Yeah.
I want to chip in as well. I think the questions that Chicken is trying to ask is whether this is like a bubble or not, right? The current situations. I think we need to differentiate between prices become higher, and this is talking about just price increase, right? It's different compared to bubble. Bubble means that something that is going up, right? And because of some, some hype or some unreasonable kind of situation, it become high because it has increased and people just want to buy before it went up further. That kind of like more emotional type. I call it as a bubble. But let's say if it is a sustained kind of demand, I won't call it as a bubble. We can call it as an inflation, house price inflation, right? So in Singapore case, I think the demand, I definitely see that there's huge demand, mainly coming from some other Asia countries, some coming from Hong Kong, some coming from other countries. So there's an increase of demand. Secondly, I think if you look at Singapore, let's say private property houses a few years back, right? Let's say 5 years back compared to now. Actually, I still remember 5 years back, it was quite cheap if you compare Singapore market versus other cities that is similar, for example, like Hong Kong, Shanghai. You just do a ratio of like, the house prices compared to the average income. Actually, Singapore house prices was quite cheap back then. So right now, the situation that we are seeing now is kind of like just mean reversion rather than a bubble. So I don't expect it to kind of like pop and then just drop significantly. Like that's not my expectation. I think some normalizations, let's say like stagnating because it went up so much, right? This one definitely possible. So I'm not too worried for those who own private properties now. So that's my take.
Actually, if I can chip in, because my perspective is I'm still a uni student. I haven't grad yet, so I can't call myself a uni grad. But I do have friends that try to BTO and stuff. So they are successful. So I have a few case studies. I won't name the names, of course, but I think there were a few. So some are in the peripheries and some are more closer to the city fringe, or like in the OCR or CCR. I don't know what's really the discussion there, but I remember my friend told me that a 4-room BTO now costs 600 plus thousand, but it's the MOP 10 years one. So it's in the what do they call it? I've forgotten where's the place really, but it's damn expensive, to be very honest, from my perspective as a fresh grad. So let's say you pull out the graduate employment survey, the average pay now is probably 4-5 for normal. And if let's say it's a couple, let's say they both earn 4K, so that's a 8K household income. But that's presuming that they are uni grads. So what I'm talking about it is now our uni percentage in Singapore is like 30%. So what happens to the 70% of the population that don't have a uni degree? So I'm saying I personally also want to, my prediction, I mean, I don't know who am I to predict, but my prediction is I kind of do agree with Bunti, because the government probably cannot just collapse the whole market price. If not, the next election confirm lose one. But that said, I think pragmatically, they will hold. So what they've been doing, I think, at least for BTO prices, it has been climbing exponentially. It's to kind of fit with the resale market. Then they match here, match there, then each other match, then match until today you have 4-room flat, 600,000. But anyway, back to that topic, I'll just think that the best way now is just to hold it at least for a few years, so that you let people's income catch up and inflation and whatnot. Because at the end of the day, even though I think one of the ministers said they were making a loss on the HDBs, but I think public housing is called public housing for a reason. It's public housing, not to get people rich. I think that's also kind of the philosophy of the government. But this is my Mingyuan, like my own perspective as a Singaporean, young Singaporean.
I have a questions because I recall Eric, you mentioned before, like you let's say there's some plan to like invest in property or real estates, right? I'm referring to private property. So actually, given that now price is already so high, yield in terms of rental yield, it will be low, right? Because of the high prices. Combine that with interest rate that's keep on rising, right? Do you think that investing in private real estate is a good idea?
I think it's a great idea. It's just that I can't cough out the millions. Literally, it's millions. like 2 months ago, I went to take a look at this. There's this new development at Bedok Point. I don't know
it's
what
at
it's
the mall
called.
there.
Yeah, so they're demolishing the Bedok Point Mall and they're building a integrated. So I thought like Bedok, come on, let's go and take a look. It's only Bedok, right? I'm not going Orchard, right? Then when I reached there, right, the agent say, oh, okay, this one, 2,100 PSF. And I'm like, 2,100, isn't that the PSF for like a CCR or RCR? It's not. This is Bedok, like this is Lao Ren Chi,
So
like,
for context, 2,100 PSF is on the higher side, is it? So for like let's say, I don't know how big the place is. How much is the estimated like valuation?
Oh, like that's the average. Just to put it in context, right? About 4 years ago, just before the COVID, right? I went to this course by the I Quadrant. Right? I don't know whether you heard of it. So I went for their weekend course, and then at that time they were telling us about the residential segment. You say, the high-end CCR they are doing at like 2,004 to 3,000, and then the outside core region, right, they are doing like about 2,000 to 2,003. Then the OCR they are doing like maybe 1,003 all the way until 1,008. That's the range lah, about 3 years ago, just before COVID. And then COVID struck, right? And then we know that the new launch like dropped drastically to about 30%. So there was like huge pent-up demands, and then the prices surged like mad. So now you see the OCR, right? Like OMO, what you call it, OMO at the Ang Mo Kio there. All those are considered OCR, but they are doing like RCR prices. So you can imagine the rest of core region, they are going nuts. Yeah. So if you ask me is it a good idea, I think it's a great idea. I mean, if you got a few million to spare, right, just buy some RCR in a good area, like close to central. I think the appreciation is going to be very strong because like you guys noted, right, government cannot crash the market. They can do cooling measure to slow down the rate of increase, but they cannot crash it, right? So starting from the land sales all the way to construction cost that's increasing, all the way to the like very thin 15%, 20% profit margin that developer have to take. We are seeing like I think I'm talking like a property agent. I think they have to sell minimally at least 1,005 PSF for private, minimally, no matter where you sell it at. If you don't sell at 1,005, you're not gonna make money. So,
but the question is more like, given now interest rate keep on rising, do you think that the house prices will continue to go up? Who will actually buy, right?
So that's the trick, you see. A lot of people are buying new launches, going on the deferred payment, right? Because they think and they assume that Fed is going to pause or at least pivot after like maybe 3 to 5 years. Because deferred payment, you can pay when they are almost done, the rest of the thing. Then they are betting by then, right, 3 to 5 years later, interest is going to come off significantly. But I think that's quite a dangerous bet, especially if you're stretching yourself to go and get that private. So I don't know. I'm quite prudent. I mean, my wife is quite prudent, not me. My wife is very prudent because I want to chiong. Like, wow, this one, 1,005 PSF, let's do it, man. She's like, nope, I'm not gonna spend like next 20 years just servicing this mortgage. It's like you're signing on the line to slave away until you retire for that property. So she feels that it's not worth it lah. So to answer your question, is it a good idea? Yeah, it's a good idea, but you got to see your income level lah. If you're up there, you're earning as much as Kelvin, buy a few.
Wait.
Yeah,
I'm
actually, Kelvin, I also
income
wanted to ask Kelvin, are you intending to like upgrade? Are you looking into the property market yourself or in
No,
Tesla?
actually, I don't understand the. Okay, so like when Eric say that it's a good capital appreciation, right? Then I compare it to something like, okay, maybe Tesla, maybe So like, do you feel that the capital appreciation of Tesla may be higher, or is it property that's higher?
I gotta give you a like for that.
But I think the bigger concern here is the risk, right? Because the risk of equities versus like property is vastly different, and you need to diversify, ma.
But you are okay. So for Eric, you are so heavy into Tesla. This means you are very confident that it will go up in the maybe next 5 to 10 years, right?
Okay, when you say heavy, right, in terms of asset allocation, right?
Right.
In the grand scheme of things, Tesla is maybe about, I'll say about 10% of my net worth. But it's not insignificant. It still pains me that Tesla is going down.
Can you share how big is the Tesla position in dollar terms?
I'm being a prudent person that I am. My wife has banned me from revealing Tesla position. So even in my own channel, I don't reveal it. It's not because I have something to hide. Because
where are the rest of your assets held right now?
In cash, obviously. Then my this property, of course, it's quite a small one. And then I count CPF as one. SSB, T-bills, I mean, those are all under my wife's name. So, but basically, I count it as mine also. And then Singapore REITs.
In that case, it will make sense to diversify into property.
Yep.
So I see your point. For me, I don't include property and CPF into my calculations because I need a place to stay. I can't just liquidate. That will be the last choice already. Then for CPF, I can't touch it. So right now I'm just considering cash and portfolio to be my asset. So in that case, right, I wouldn't bet on property because it's a long-term thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Tesla is also a long-term thing, right? I mean, I'm presuming it's a hopefully a long-term thing. So I mean, that's why we were asking in terms of maybe what if it's a second property? So like your decouple and I mean, that's a very famous strategy, right?
Yep.
Move one to one person's name, the other person buy a property, and assuming that your income is high enough, you can probably contribute to the second property, and then if y'all don't live, then y'all just rent out. It's a rental play or
but whatever. The decoupling, right, can only be done because as far as I know, Kelvin, I think you showed before, right, your video, you said you stay in a HDB, right? So the decoupling can only be done if in the first place you buy it by yourself.
Yeah, so the decoupling can only work if I sell my HDB and one couple buy one condo.
Yeah,
for that I will need like $2 million at least to buy.
I think can manage that.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah, no problem.
What about Bunti? Are you thinking of doing that?
Actually, no. I try to keep it simple. Like the more you put your research or your energy effort into something, right, actually it will drain the energy. So I try to keep it simple. For me, the HDB really just for own stay, right? So it's not even part of the net worth, right? So count it out.
Yeah.
Then the rest is just really deploying into stocks, into companies that I like, maybe some T-bills. CPF also I try to increase a little bit more just to take advantage of the tax. So I try to keep it very, very simple.
Yes, that's all for today. So if you enjoyed the discussion, remember to help smash the like button and subscribe. We try to commit to at least one episode per week. And if you guys have any comments or any things, room for improvement, please feel free to leave in the comment section down below as well. So we are basically just fooling around and just trying it out as well. So if every comment and feedback will be greatly appreciated. And I'll see you in the next video.